We are recording. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 18th, 2024 council meeting. Madam Clerk, pledge, please.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Councilman Asbill is absent. Councilman Buddy?
Present.
Councilman Chatelain?
Present.
Councilman Johnston?
Present.
Councilman Ricks is absent. Mayor Baudier?
Present.
Police Chief LaPree? Present. Fire Chief St. Cyr? Absent. Finance Director Todd Turnion?
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry? Present. Myself, Carrie Hustis. Clerk's present. Mayor's announcements.
Just real quick, I want to mention that the RFP debris collection will be advertised starting 4/24. That's for storm cleanup. That's for debris cleanup for the for hurricanes or any kind of storm situations. But I just want to make sure that we made it very well known that it will be advertised starting on 4/24. Madam Clerk, that's all from me.
Okay, special presentations. Brittany Verdon, Community Affairs Coordinator with East Jefferson EMS, and Dr. Jeffrey Elder, Medical Director with LCMC Health for AED donation.
Well, Dr. Elder and Brittany are coming up. When I took office, I did inventory of the Harahan Police Department, and I found that we had some AEDs that were in a closet. We tried to get batteries for them, and we couldn't get batteries for these AEDs. It's a special device, an important device that our officers have when we roll on a medical roll and we get there and a patient may need this type of life support to help. So I reached out to then Fire Chief Brian Adams, who's now our State Fire Marshal, and I told him what I was looking to do, and he was gracious enough to hook me up with Dr. Elder. And so we started talking, had some conversations, and LCMC has been gracious enough to work with the Harahan Police Department. They're going to do a donation to us this evening. It's a special donation. I want to recognize our deepest thoughts and thanks for this device. This is very important for the Harahan Police Department to have, because 9 times out of 10, our guys are the first on the scene. So we're going to be working with Brittany and LCMC on training and getting our officers trained. We do have one officer, Sergeant Mitchell, who has been trained. He's going to go to a train-the-trainer course, and he's going to make sure everybody on the department's trained. We're going to offer it to the City Hall employees, anybody where one might be. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Elder and thank him.
Thank you, Chief. For the mayor and the council, you know, we know that seconds count in cardiac arrest, and for a community like this where the fire and police departments are here, they're close, they're going to be on scene quickly, having devices like these AEDs really make the difference. So in these most critical patients, chest compressions, CPR, and AED use in patients who need the shock are what saves lives. And so anything we can do to help get that pushed further out in the community is important. And so I'd like to just thank the Chief for giving us the opportunity to do this. And obviously we continue to serve the citizens of Harahan as well, but this will get that really emergent care as quickly as possible to the patient. And we appreciate the time for you guys letting us come to discuss some of this today.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Y'all want to, Chief, y'all want to come up and like take a picture? Y'all want to come?
Come up. Paul.
Yeah, get what you find. Hold up. Yeah. We got that. Information officer. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm going to test it out on Eric. When I'm going to test it out on him.
I'm going to make a motion.
Yeah, that's right.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to amend the agenda, put the address to council in the
Aye.
beginning of the council.
We have a motion by Councilman Johnson to move up, address the council on, he wants the amended agenda. We'll now open for public hearing. Anyone for or against amending the agenda? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing.
We have people going to come to address the council.
Can we have a second to amend the agenda?
I second it.
We have a second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence. Agenda is amended. We'll now move up, address the council.
Address the council. Who would like to
Anyone
address
like
the
to come up and
council?
address the council, please state your name and
Tab, y'all want to address the
podium.
council? Address the council's open.
Okay, well,
Gentlemen, correct?
all right, go ahead. You're fine.
How we doing, y'all? Serge Villanova. Just a friendly reminder, Saturday, June 1st, come on out to the 4th annual Harahan Music Festival and Food Drive, starting at noon at Harahan Playground. Gonna have some great musicians like New Orleans Americana icon Lynn Drury, as well as others at the Harahan Playground, with the after party with Amanda Shaw at the camp starting at 7:30. That will be a ticketed event, but the daytime festival at Harahan Playground Saturday, June 1st, will be free. We started this event 2021 at the tail end of the COVID pandemic under Mayor Baudier's administration on the back of Councilman Chatelain's flatbed trailers, and since then we've gone on to do really great things in my opinion. We've raised over 10,000 items of food for the St. Rita Food Pantry. We helped Mr. Henderson over there and the guys at the VFW attain a brand new John Deere riding lawnmower last year. We assisted the Kingfish Boxing Camp in producing their first boxing tournament in the city of Harahan, the first boxing tournament in the city of Harahan in over a decade, as well as sending a bolt of electricity into Zerang Park, all the while entertaining the awesome, hardworking residents of Harahan and River Ridge areas. And come on down Saturday, June 1st, Harahan Playground for the 4th iteration of our festival. Thank you.
Serge, what time does it start?
Noon. Can be noon to 6:30.
Thank you.
It's cold in here.
I just turned it up, baby. The man hit me. I thought it was a little stuffy. He said it's cold, so I turned it up.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Jackie Maloney, and I'm running for District Court Judge. And I'm here just to remind everybody and the voters that there's an election coming up. Early voting has already started, April 13th through 20th, so until this Saturday. And Election Day is April 27th. And I'd ask the constituents in Harahan to please consider me when they're casting their vote for District Court Judge. I've been practicing law for more than 25 years. I was a prosecutor for the first 14 years of my career. I've tried more than 130 felony jury trials as a prosecutor, including murders, rapes, robberies, drug offenses, and I tried the last death penalty case that went to trial in Jefferson Parish and sent that man to death row. Since 2012, I've been in private practice handling domestic and civil matters, and I've tried hundreds of civil and domestic matters as a civil attorney. April 27th, please cast your vote for the only candidate in the race that has tried a case, a judge, jury, civil, or criminal jury trial. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please get out to vote, because they expect like a 10% turnout. It's really been a really low turnout, so please get out to vote on April 27th. It's really a shame how the people aren't showing up to vote. Really is. Tab,
Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
tell us who you are.
My name is Tab Allen Henderson. I'm the commander at the VFW, at the VFW post down here on Hickory. About once a year, I come out here and let everybody know that we're still alive and kicking down there. We've got a lot of good things going on down there. We're actually on May 25th, we're going to have our $5,000 drawing. We do sell tickets for $50 a piece, and we sell approximately 200 tickets to raise money for the post. We give away $5,000 plus several door prizes, and we feed you free drinks. We have free entertainment there, so it's a nice big shindig. And if you purchase a ticket, you can get you and another guest in for free. Also on May the 11th, I believe, we have our summer craft fair. It's the day before Mother's Day. But we have our summer craft fair coming up. Of course, it's always free to enter. Come check out all of our many vendors that we have there. And other than that, I have tickets in my pocket if people want to buy one.
Tab, when is the $50 event? What day?
May 25th.
May 25th, got it. Wait a
Are
minute.
you hanging around till after the meeting so we can buy a
If
ticket?
you buying a ticket, I am.
I'm buying one.
Yeah, where else can you go spend $50 to get free food, free drinks, free entertainment? Of course, we have the great Clay Taylor will be entertaining us. I probably don't know him, but he's pretty good. Anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Okay, no one else come. We'll now close address the council. Madam Clerk, approval of the minutes.
Approval of minutes. Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on March 21st, 2024.
Okay, do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes from council meeting on March 24th?
Motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Chatelain. We'll now open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor to dispense with the reading of the minutes?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent. Madam Clerk?
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on March 21st, 2024.
Okay, so we're now over a public hearing. Anyone want to speak on the approval of the minutes of the council meeting on March 21st, 2024? We'll now close public hearing. Do I have a motion to dispense, to approve those minutes?
Motion to
We have a
dispense.
motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence.
And then reading of the minutes of the special council meeting, which is actually on April 4th. I think I accidentally put April 6th on the agenda, but it was April 4th.
Okay. We have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes special council meeting on April 4th, 2024. We'll now for a public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy, to dispense with the reading of the minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence, Madam Clerk.
Approval of the minutes of the special council meeting on April 4th, 2024.
We're now open for public hearing. Anyone wanting to discuss the approval of the minutes of the council meeting from April 4th, 2024? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Chatelain, to approve those minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence, Madam Clerk.
Communications, reading of the minutes of the Board of Adjustment meeting on March 20th,
I have a
2024.
motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the Board of Adjustments meeting on March 20th. Open for public hearing. Anyone want to discuss? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor to dispense with the reading of those minutes?
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence, Madam Clerk.
Approval of the minutes of the Board of Adjustment meeting on March 20th, 2024.
I will now open for public hearing. Anyone to speak about the approval of the minutes of the Board of Adjustments meeting on March 20th? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor to approve those minutes?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence, Madam Clerk.
Okay, resolutions. Proposed resolution 2024-3. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Harahan to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with John Curtis Christian School for rental and improvement of city-owned property.
All right, we'll now open for public hearing. Anyone to speak on proposed resolution 2024-3? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to defer. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence. Madam Clerk, proposed resolutions 2024-3 is deferred.
Proposed resolution 2024-6. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Harahan authorizing the mayor to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with Linfield, Hunter and Junius Incorporated for emergency sewer collection and treatment system overhaul.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on proposed resolutions 2024-6? No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
I've met with those folks 2 or 3 times in the last week, 10 days, working through their contract, and thought we had an agreement, but found out late this afternoon that there are 2 issues which we haven't come to agreement on yet. I think we'll get there, but I don't think the agreement is ready to sign, so I propose we defer the agreement.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to defer proposed resolutions 2024-6. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson to defer. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absence. That's one, guys, we may have to call back for a special meeting because this is time sensitive. Just so you know, we may be pushing on that one. All right, Madam Clerk, proposed resolution 2024-7.
Sorry. Proposed Resolution 2024-7. The following resolution was offered unanimously by the council. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Harahan adopting the 2023 Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire.
Okay, anyone want to speak on the proposed resolutions 2024-7 on the questionnaire? Please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion. Being there's no discussion, all in favor?
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent, Madam Clerk.
Proposed Resolution 2024-8. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain, a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the City of Harahan, State of Louisiana, to vote upon an amendment to the current city charter, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed resolutions 2024-8? Please come to the podium.
Name is May Cazenave, 46 Oak Avenue, Harahan. Why don't you have on here that it's term limits? To tell the people what it is. They don't even know what the proposition is. You don't even tell them. But anyway, I know that's what it is. The President of the United States has term limits. The state has term limits. The parish has term limits. Harahan has term limits. Why do you want to get rid of term limits? Can you all answer me that?
We'll answer you after you finish.
Y'all never give people an answer when they come before you.
Oh, I'm gonna give you an answer when you finish.
Yeah, you gotta wait forever. Once your turn expires, you have the option of running for another office in Harahan, Jefferson Parish, the state, sitting out for 4 years, then running again, or simply retiring. How many people are at this meeting? This is the most people I've seen at this meeting since years. Do you wonder why no one comes to the council meetings? The council accomplished exactly what you wanted by taking out our right to speak at the beginning of the meeting. People do not want to wait till the end of the meeting to speak. Harahan better wake up and start coming to the meetings to find out what's going on. I am in favor of term limits. And how much will this election cost the city of Harahan? Y'all should know that. No answer, huh? See, people? You never get an answer. This is what you voted for. You better let them get term limits and get out of here.
Okay, anyone else want to address the council? All right, no one coming forth. We'll close address to council. Council discussion.
Can I go first?
You can go first.
Term limits. Right now, you have 2 4-year term limits. I'm going to tell you right now, the average person that comes in here and gets on the city council, it takes them 2.5 to 3 years to figure out what's going on. So they work really hard for 2.5, 3 years to figure out what's going on, how everything's going. Then you get a hurricane, a pandemic. They throw all these curves in the situation. So they're still trying to figure out what's going on. So 2.5 years, you're working really hard to figure out what's going on. Then you got 2 years, you work really hard to make sure you get reelected. And then some people give up after that because they done. They just sit here and milk that clock.
That's exactly what y'all want.
So if you push it on and you give it, you can't go from 2 years to 3 years, 2 terms to 3 terms. You'd have to take the term limits away, and then you could come back and bring them back at 3 terms if you want. But you can't take it from 2 and bring it to 3. I believe, it's my turn to talk. I believe when these term limits were put in place, I don't believe that was legal the way they did it. That's my belief.
Everybody else has term
Ms.
limits.
Ms. May-Jean, please.
So I don't believe West Wego and Gretna have term limits.
Ms. Wego, Gretna.
And also, you asked a question about how much this is going to cost us?
Right.
0.
Oh, I can't believe that.
I'm not here to convince you to believe it, but
The
0.
government doesn't give anybody anything for free.
All right.
And every 4 years, when someone comes up for re-election, you could either vote for them or don't vote for them. That's your term limits right there. If they're doing a good job, keep voting for them. If they're doing a bad job, vote for someone else.
And we have had people in Harahan stay there for 40 years, and we finally got rid of them when we had term limits. And now you want to get rid of
Just so you
term
know, the
limits.
state has 3 terms as well.
So
I done made up my mind.
you had people there for 40 years. The people of Harahan kept re-electing them. It's not like you're going to get elected one time and you're going to stay there till death. Every 4 years, you have an election. If you're not doing a good job, they don't elect you again. That's a,
Well, I have a comment. While you're right, this proposed resolution may not say what it's for, when you read on a little bit further on the agenda, proposed ordinance 2024-7 does talk about what it's for, and it says it's subject to the vote of the people passing, in effect. So the resolutions come first in order, so you didn't see if you didn't go all the way through the packet, ma'am, you didn't see that it is described at the earliest place it can be described in our packet. Now, having said that, wait, nope, this is not a discussion either. I'm addressing you, answering some questions, and making my comments. I see pros and cons of term limits, and I agree with everything Councilman Chatelain just said, but I'm opposed to eliminating term limits just in general. It's hard for me to say I want term limits there and not here. But there is a lot of value to discontinuing term limits. Councilman Chatelain's 100% correct. I spent a couple of years trying to figure out where the water fountain was. There's no course we can go to. We come in, your first election, you come in cold. I was really lucky. I had a good group of councilmen that I worked with, and they coached me as best they could. I learned from them, but it's difficult. It's somewhat inefficient. However, just in general, I'm opposed to eliminating term limits. I'd like to see term limits on every elected office, particularly the U.S. Congress and Senate. But it is in the packet. You just didn't read all the way through it and put the pieces together. And I don't know how the other I suspect I know how our, Councilman Chatelain's going to vote. But we need to decide the pros and cons, and there are pros and cons either way. I cannot disagree with somebody for voting opposite of the way I'm a vote, because there are pros and cons. The reality is, if this happens, it'll be by a vote of the citizens. So I would just soon see it not go to the vote of the citizens, because I don't want it to happen. But if it happens, it'll be after the citizens vote. So as Councilman Johnson said, citizens have to get out and vote. These are important issues, and you get what you pay for. If you don't participate in the voting, you really don't have a right to complain. You don't have a good right to complain. So please, if this hits the ballot, come out, vote your conscience, and majority rules. Thank you.
When will this take place? When will this election?
I don't have the date.
November 5th. The presidential election, November 5th.
Presidential election.
That's why it was only cost us, I think, $2,000
don't
to
think
add
it's
this
that
to the
much.
ballot.
I don't think it's that much.
Maybe not. I
They're running
saw,
around saying it's going to cost us $16,000.
no, it's not going to cost us that.
That's
We're
not
going to be on a presidential election.
It'll be on an election that's already scheduled.
According to what I saw here, I read the ordinance, it's November 5th is the election day that's, because they're going to hold this if we vote it in. I'm in favor of term limits. I mean, 1994 and 93, when we voted term limits in, I voted in favor of term limits. I'm totally in favor of term limits. But I'd kind of lean towards 3 terms, but I'm going to tell you why. As Councilman Chatelain said, your first 4 years you're learning. I've been in politics for 29 years. I've served Harahan for 27 years. Your first 4 years you're learning. You're getting to know the thing. And then when you serve your second 4 years, you're on your way out. You need time to learn government, and that's why the state has 3 terms. They serve 12 years, the state senators and the state reps. They're served 12 years. So I think 3 terms may be better than 2 terms. That's what I'm looking at, but we serve 2 terms. So we're learning in the first 4 years, the second 4 years, we get to know things, and then we're going to be termed out. So, you know, I'm in favor of term limits. I'm not going to vote against this because I think the people have a right to vote. You need to give the citizens the right to vote. I'm not going to vote against something that's going not to give the citizens the right to vote. If they vote to do away with term limits, I hope they don't, because I'm in favor of term limits. But if they do, so be it. But I'm not going to vote against it because I'm not going to deny my citizens the right to vote on something.
Like, us doing this, we're not changing it. We're just putting it to a vote of the people. So the people would be the one to agree to get rid of term limits. We could come back, we could put term limits back at 3 terms. 2 terms isn't enough. You know, and I'll argue that point with anybody. I mean, we're going to agree to disagree, but 8 years isn't enough to accomplish a lot of stuff, if you want to accomplish a lot of stuff.
For mayor, then. You can run for another position.
I will be running for mayor. I ran for mayor already.
You see, you're running for another position then. So you can do that.
Mr. Buddy could go through a contract. I'm going to bring it to you like this. Mr. Buddy could sit right here, and I'll tell you right now, he'll scrutinize a contract better than any council member I've seen up here in the last 12 to 15 years. I would love to have Mr. Buddy sit there and scrutinize contracts for me as a councilman. He's not here to do that. Councilman Wheeler, who's not here because she was termed out, she'll go through that budget and tell you numbers left and right. Nobody up here is going to compete with on them numbers. She's not here to do that. She's termed out. We had a lot of good councilmen up here who did a really good job. If they had another 4 years, the city would move forward even more. I don't have a problem with any of our council members up here now, but if they want an opportunity to run, you let the citizens pick if they want them another 4 years or not. You're basically tying their hands now, and if they can't run.
Well,
But-
Councilman Wheeler can run again. She's been sitting out for 4 years, she can run again.
I agree, but I'd love to have her up here on this team right now.
Well, maybe you can talk her into running.
She's not here now, is what I'm making the point. If she could have ran again, it would have been up to the people to elect her to be here now. It's the people's choice. We've had police chief, we've had mayors that you love. They termed out. You would have loved to vote for them again. I promise you, you would have. They termed out. You couldn't vote for them again. They couldn't run again. If they could have ran again, they might be sitting here as police chief still.
And we had some for.
I spoke my opinion, and that's where I stand. Thank you.
Okay, so you want to call for the vote, Councilman Chatterley?
Did you want to defer this? Or?
Yeah, defer it. I want all 5 councilmen to vote on this.
Okay.
Not 3.
Okay.
I want all 5.
Okay. So we have a motion by Councilman
I'd
Johnson
ask
to
for
defer.
deferral.
Yeah, he told me to do
We
that.
have a second by Councilman Chatterley to defer. All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 yeas, 2 absent. Madam Clerk, we are deferred.
Ordinances for approval. Excuse me. Proposed ordinance number 2023-35. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman Chatelain. An ordinance to adopt the new City of Harahan Employee Handbook, non-civil service, which will supersede Ordinance 1361 and all subsequent amendments.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-35, please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion? All right, no discussion. We'll call for the vote.
Hold on one sec. I've met with city staff and the city's consultant 2 or 3 times, I believe, in the last month. And we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow, which I think will wrap up modifications. But there are a significant number of changes, I believe, that'll be proposed that have made it through the review so far. So I'd like to defer this until the next meeting. I think that review should be complete, and then the council can consider a final package.
Okay, cool. So we have a motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Johnston to defer proposed ordinance number 2023-35. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent. Madam Clerk, we are deferred.
Proposed ordinance 2024-7. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston and seconded by Councilman who would like it.
What is this one?
This is the one on the fees.
I'll second it.
I'm going to have to defer it anyway.
Okay,
I want to have all 5 here when I'm.
okay. So we have a motion on the floor, so we have a second by Councilman Chatelain. Anyone want to speak on proposed orders number 2024-7, please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We have a motion by Councilman Johnson to defer.
Second.
Second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay?
3 yeas, 2 absence. Madam Clerk, deferred.
Okay, proposed ordinance 2024-8. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman, who would like that one?
I'll second it.
Buddy? An ordinance to repeal ordinance number 1367, providing a car allowance for the mayor in its entirety.
Okay, we're now open for public hearing. Anyone want to come forth? We're now closed public hearing. No one coming forth. Council discussion?
Yeah, I have a discussion on this. This was introduced when I was mayor. The purpose of a car allowance for the mayor is when the mayor, when I was mayor my first term, I used my own vehicle. So the council felt that, being I was using my own vehicle, that I should be reimbursed for gas and use of my car. So they gave me a $350 a month car allowance. My second term, the council gave me a car. They went through the bid program, the bid project, where, you know, the bid program, like the chief goes through the bid for police cars. And we went to the bid, state bid, and we got a car for the mayor, and I got a car. So therefore, I didn't have a car allowance because I got a car. So we didn't have a car allowance. The purpose of the car allowance is for a mayor that decides he wants to use his own vehicle and not a city car. Mayor Baudier, didn't you use your own vehicle in the beginning?
For the first 5 years.
For the first 5 years, he used his own vehicle, so he got a car allowance. So now he's got a city car, so he don't get a car allowance. He gets a vehicle. But I don't know why they're doing away with this, because the next mayor, whoever it may be, Eric or whoever it may want to use his own vehicle and may not want a city car. You know, the city may have to buy another vehicle. I mean, why take this out? I don't.
Because right now, it's adjusted in his salary.
See, I have a question about that, Paul. Your logic is really good, but by ordinance, the mayors should be getting a car allowance until we change the ordinance.
Correct.
So that's a double dipping, and nobody, including the mayor, wants that. I know you don't want it.
That's not the purpose of the ordinance. The purpose of the ordinance was if the mayor wants to use his own vehicle, which the mayor did use his own vehicle for the first 5 years, he got a car allowance.
Yeah, but still. But he's getting a car allowance because the city council has approved the car allowance, and it doesn't say, it doesn't follow
It might have
through
been
with what
not
you're
worded
saying.
the way you wanted it to be.
Yeah, but so I think maybe
wording
we
is
could
wrong.
amend it either or.
Well, maybe we could amend it, Eric, instead of
Yeah.
doing away with it, because the next mayor may want to use his own vehicle. I mean, I just don't see why we should do away with
But if
the
the
car
city,
allowance.
if the city has a vehicle,
If the mayor has a vehicle, he shouldn't get a car allowance.
correct.
I didn't have a car allowance. When Vinny was mayor, he got a car allowance because he used his own vehicle. You used your own vehicle the first 5 years, you got a car allowance.
Excuse me.
So maybe it's the way it's worded, we need to change the wording.
I'm gonna ask the finance director if maybe he could give us a little input. Basically, this car allowance is reflected on the mayor's salary.
A portion of it.
Shouldn't be.
It's an additional item. When it's paid to the mayor, it's on his W-2 and it's processed through the payroll
Well, yeah, it's good.
system.
Yeah.
But I would ask, and I don't know if Kerry knows or the mayor, but haven't you not been paid these amounts for a period of time? Or,
No, that's why we're getting rid of it, because it
Yeah.
has been.
That's why I put the ordinance up to get
That's
rid
right,
of it,
because
because I
without the
thought it was
ordinance, we
based in
can't
his
vote.
salary.
From the paycheck.
I understand that, but
His salary when
I'd rather-
Without the
I'd rather-
ordinance being
I'd rather
adjusted.
see you amend it instead of do away with it. And if the wording's, city attorney, if the wording's wrong, it wasn't intended to be.
Retroactive to cover.
Either or.
I mean, it wasn't intended for the mayor to get a car allowance and a car. It was intended for the mayor to get a car allowance using his own vehicle. It may have been written wrong, because lawyers gotten smarter in the last 18 years. This was written.
Do you want to defer it? so we
Defer
can-
this
I'd
and
rather
let the
defer it.
city
Let's-
attorney
let
look
him
over it and see if he
rewrite
can
it
rewrite it to where you get
where
either
the mayor,
or.
don't do away with it. The mayor decides he wants, you have a car, so you don't need it. I mean, you have a car. So the next mayor may want to use his own car. I don't want to see the next mayor have to reintroduce an ordinance. Let's word it differently and we'll amend it instead of doing away with it.
And I agree with going forward with that process, but there could be a cost to that. If the city has purchased a vehicle for a mayor.
Right.
And there's an election and we have a new mayor, the city's already invested in that vehicle. And what we're proposing here tonight for consideration is to give the new incoming mayor the option. City vehicle, gas, insurance, and most people are going to take the city vehicle if they put a pension.
They don't
to
have
it.
to worry about it.
Right, but if they opt for the car allowance, he or she, the city's stuck with the vehicle.
No. Let me tell you, I'm sorry, I don't
No,
mean-
that's quite all right.
Let me
Please.
tell you what they did with me. I was mayor, when my term ended, the call I had, the police department took it. And Vinnie Mosca used his own vehicle. And the call was turned over to Mac Dickerson, who used that
So
as
it was
his...
still being used, the vehicle
Yeah,
was still being used.
still being used.
City's always short on
And
vehicles.
I just want to clarify that I would be fine with the amendment, but it's got to be either or we should do away with the car allowance because the current mayor is driving a city vehicle, city insurance, city gas,
Right.
city maintenance, and he certainly doesn't expect to get a car allowance and a city vehicle. So if we can defer,
I would defer it and let the city attorney rewrite it where, in case, and again, I'm just trying to say, that when the next mayor, Eric, you running for mayor, good luck to you. You may not want a city vehicle, you might want your own vehicle. I don't know,
All right. So we have a motion by Councilman Johnson to defer proposed ordinance 2024-8. We have a second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor to defer?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent. Madam Clerk, ordinance is deferred.
Proposed ordinance number 2024-9. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman, who would like that one?
That's the term limit. I'll second, but we're deferring that too.
Okay.
Okay, second by Councilman Johnson.
You
Okay.
want me to read the title still, or?
Yep, go ahead, read the title.
Okay.
We'll just-
An ordinance to repeal ordinance number 1046, limiting the number of terms of office which any elected official may serve in its entirety.
Okay, we'll now for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2024-9? Ms. McGee?
Why are you repealing this term limit when you haven't even had an election yet? On one thing, you want to have the election, and here you're taking the
no,
term
ma'am.
limits off.
No, ma'am. If you were correct in what you were saying, it'd be a good point. But if you read Section 2 of this proposed ordinance, it says, "The ordinance shall become effective only after the question of the repeal of the prior ordinance has been submitted to and approved by the majority of qualified electors." So this is a process. You got to get it there so we can have an election, if we're going to have an election. But it's clear that it doesn't become effective unless the citizens vote on it. So you make a good point, but this doesn't do what you thought it did.
Well, it doesn't tell you enough on
Yes, it
here.
does, ma'am. It's in Section 2. It's perfectly clear.
Since we're still talking about this, Travis Bourgeois, 663 Grove. Chatelain, you said that putting it on the vote would cost $0, right? But then Johnson, 2 seconds later, said it was going to cost $2,000, and then there's rumors that it's going to cost $16,000. Are you lying, or you misspoke? What's going on with that?
The rumor is 16,000. I could have misspoke. It could cost something, but it's going to be very minimal.
Very little.
Very
little.
minimal.
Very minimal.
It's
Okay,
on the-
because at first you said 0, and then Johnson
It could
said
be 0. I may be
2,000.
wrong. I saw $2,000 on one of the ordinances.
Yeah.
But it's on the presidential election,
Okay.
so it's not going to cost us much at all.
If
But
we
it will
had,
cost something.
It
if
may
we
not.
had a special election with just that on the ballot, I believe it would cost more than 16,000.
Right.
But we would never throw something up like that on an election that wouldn't be on a planned election already.
You piggyback on the
Yeah,
parish.
just so you know, every election costs something. Every election costs something.
It does. It does.
But it's not gonna cost
but don't
anything
say
out of the
zero.
ordinary.
Right, yeah.
Don't say zero.
Well, it may
when
be
it's gonna
zero.
cost
We're
money.
not sure.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, just say I'm not sure. Don't
Yeah.
say zero when it's gonna cost something.
All right, we got you, Robert.
Well, I know I saw one of the ordinances, $2,000.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm happy to shed light on this,
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you.
Council members. I'm Jason Akers with Fuller and Udell. We drafted the ordinance and
I was getting
resolution.
ready to say we need to bring this attorney. I'm
Okay.
glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here as well. There is, in the notice of election, the form of which is attached to the resolution. I realize we're on the ordinance now, but in the form that's attached to the resolution, there is an estimated cost. That estimated cost is provided by the Louisiana Secretary of State. It's not our estimate, it's not your estimate, it's the Louisiana Secretary of State's estimate. That estimate is $2,000.
That's why I saw $2,000.
You did. You saw $2,000. That estimate is $2,000. Councilmember, you're not far off on the $16,000 estimate if this were just a special election with nothing else going on in Harahan. And I can understand certainly the misunderstanding with respect to the actual amount, because when you probably saw the first draft of the ordinance, we didn't have that, or the resolution, we didn't have that number yet from the Secretary of State. But very clearly, Secretary of State is estimating this will cost you $2,000 if you put it on the November 5th election.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we now close the public hearing. All right, y'all want to council
Make a
discussion?
motion to defer.
We have a motion by Councilman Johnson to defer. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent on the deferral. Madam Clerk, ordinances for introduction.
Ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was offered by Councilman Chatelain. Proposed ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1990, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024 for the capital project fund of the city of Harahan, Louisiana for flagpoles. Old business number 1, planning and zoning board appointment.
I don't think we have any at this time. Madam Clerk, we'll defer.
Okay. New business number 1, Todd Turnion, Finance Director, monthly financials.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Brief update from the finance team. We've worked on closing out the internal books through March 31st, and we're working, Mr. Buddy, on preparing some reports through the first quarter, as you've requested,
thank you.
through 2024. So we're hopeful to have that in advance of next month's council meeting.
Thank you.
We are also working on the year-end closeout and the external audit, so the auditors are on site this week, working with the city's team. They also will be on site next week, and we have weekly calls scheduled with them to keep us on track and to keep them on track so we can issue before June 30th on the audit side. We did get the sales tax amounts for this month, and that continues to be meeting our expectations and consistent with what we had previously budgeted. So that's the really good news. We do also continue to meet with FEMA and still hit potential roadblocks, but we still communicate with them every month, every 2 to 3 weeks on that scheduled call, and trying to work through the issues and their questions and the information that they need for us to satisfy them so we can move it forward to close out some of the PWs and ultimately get some reimbursements back to the city. So that's all we had from the finance team. Happy to answer any questions
We
that you
did
may
get
have.
news yesterday that the LWCC refund check will be probably more than budgeted.
Great.
I think it was like 120, 130 something.
So
So we
we-
budget around 60 for that?
No, we typically budget somewhere between like 90 and 100 or 80 and 100, somewhere
Good,
somewhere
we'll be
around
doing a
there.
little bit better.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Todd.
New business number 2, David Silbernagel at 7712 Norton has requested a barricade on May 4th, 2024. He said they're having their annual neighborhood party and that they would just want to use the barricade to slow the flow of traffic, but not to block the street completely. I
ahead,
talked to
This is the first I'm hearing of
Well, I
this.
talked to Joseph, I called Joe, and he said that because it's a barricade and it's a city, the barricade is city property, to ask y'all.
Well, my recommendation is, it sounds like a block party. They're putting a barricade up to slow traffic. They need a detail officer out there.
All right. We'll approve it contingent on having a detail officer.
If they have a detail officer, we'll drop a barricade off. If they don't have a detail officer, we do not drop a barricade.
Excuse me, is it one detailed officer? Because I understood if you're having a block party, you need one
It's
on
a
each side.
dead-end
It's a
street.
dead-end street.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatterling to approve with requirements of having one detail officer. We have a second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent. Madam Clerk.
Secretary's report. Secretary's report for March 2024. Total revenue, $695,450.58. Reports.
Chief LaPree.
Thank you. Again, first, I'd like to acknowledge LCMC again, one more time, for their gracious donation to the Harahan Police Department and the city of Harahan and to the residents. So that was a very nice donation to the city. It saved the city quite a bit of money because each one of those devices is like $1,200, $1,250, somewhere around there. So the Harahan Police Department, we've, in the process, we've been getting more applications. Right now, we're going through the process of getting the backgrounds and getting them hired. One gentleman, a former NOPD officer, and a military veteran. He was in Afghanistan. The other gentleman is former law enforcement with probation and parole and ATF. He's applied to come on with us. So we're excited about that. We have some others that have applied we're looking at. We have one officer that'll graduate next month from the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office Academy. He'll be coming online. We have another gentleman that starts the academy Monday, who's also a former military vet. He came on with a couple months ago as a dispatcher, and he's proved himself very well that he deserves to go to the academy. So we're going to put Johnny in the academy too. The officer that came out 2 months ago from the St. Charles Academy, he's in FTO training and he's doing very well. So hopefully we're going to keep building our ranks and continue going in the direction we're going. We did get new radar guns though too. I want to let the public know, slow down, because we are out writing citations on speeding, so, and slow down in the school zones. Overall, we had 441 calls for service last month. We had 10 vehicle accidents, issued 61 citations. We had 7 patrol requests that came in on the app. In reality, we actually did 119 resident and business checks on there. I mean, not business checks, just residential checks. We did a little over 1,000 business checks. Traffic enforcement was 81. Medical calls, we had 70. We had 70 medical rolls. And our officers usually get there, and the fire department does a good job when they come out and assist a lot of times. So we appreciate that. But we are an older community, and we need the equipment that we may need in an emergency response. So again, I thank all the first responders that do respond. Last month, we had 34 misdemeanor arrests, 26, I'm sorry, and we had 9 felony arrests. We had 4 traffic. We had 5 narcotic arrests, and we had 12 narcotics that turned in to be felons. One of our officers made a traffic stop on a vehicle that was parked in front of a business at the end of Hickory, down by the camp. It was late. He noticed a car sitting in the parking lot there. 2 subjects were in it. Once he made the connection to them, there was methamphetamine, crack, heroin, and weed in the car. So those subjects were arrested, but they were in the city of Harahan limits. So we need to be vigilant. If you see something in your neighborhoods, please call us. We had 1 vehicle burglary. We had 1 vehicle theft of an automobile, 6 thefts, shoplifting, and we had 8 assaults, verbal assaults, mostly domestic. But we continue to grow our ranks, and I'm working on a lot of training for our officers, and we're just trying to continue to keep the city safe. Anything?
Chief, a resident asked me today if we had video cameras in the patrol cars themselves. And I think this is something that you may have in the works. I wasn't sure how to answer him. I told him I'd check.
Right. We do have the body cams. The body cams are being issued. All the officers have to go through training with them first. We have the policy procedures on the use of body cams. I would love to have in-car dash cameras, but it's relatively expensive. I've submitted a request to our state reps, Kurt Talbert, and to Big John Hill, to see if we can get help funding. I know the city of Kenner has the cameras in all their cars, and so does Westwego. I'm working on getting those, but right now that we're strapped with funding. There's only so much money I know that goes around for everybody, but I would love to have them, but at this time, we're only going to have the body cams. And the 5 new cars that was provided to us by Senator Talbert and Big John Hill, those 5 units are now 10-8 on the street, and it looks nice to have those new units riding around. It's really boosted the morale of the officers. The ones that didn't get one, they're hoping that we can find resources, and I know y'all did help me get that. It's built the morale. Everybody feels good driving around in something that's really good. We just had one of our older units that was 12, 13 years old burn up the other night. So what we're planning on doing, we have several for an auction. I don't know when that can take place or who we need to talk to about that. But we've got several vehicles that are ready to auction off along with other items. But the in-car dash cameras is something that I'm hoping to get soon. I am working with Big John Hill on getting some speed trailers to try to slow people down. It's not a radar writing ticket type camera, but it's something that flashes to help you slow down. But it is also a license plate reader. So it can help tying into the flock system that's throughout the rest of the state and country, the flock system. So,
Chief, I believe
I'm
we spoke about the in-car cameras. I think there was a legality about, because I said something about what if we got a couple of them, and then I think they said it was legality that if we put it in one, we have to put them in all.
Right. The question that's been brought up, if we only have it in 3 or 4 cars and then the 5th car doesn't have it, something happens in that car, like Councilman Johnson said, attorneys are getting smarter. They're going to say, well, why you put my client in that car that didn't have a camera? So in order to avoid that, we need to provide them for all the vehicles and not just one.
That's the reason we
be
didn't put them in the
consistent.
5 cars we have, the 5 new cars, because that was my question. We got 5 new cars, let's put the cameras, get them decked out. And that was the reason we couldn't put them in them 5 cars, because if someone was in a car with a camera, something happened, they say, well, why was he in a car with a camera? Vice versa if they were in a car without a camera.
Right.
So thank you for that clarification, and I was confused. I'm talking about the front-facing camera that would be videoing a car, say an officer was
Right.
pulling over.
These
Do we have-
cameras that you're mentioning are both.
Both.
They'll
Thank you.
do the front, and then there'd be a camera in the back of the car observing the subject that was incarcerated at the time.
Thank you.
We did the homework, got the
Right.
pricing and all, and it's just not cost effective for us to be, we can't afford to put them in all the cars, that's the reason. But
Okay.
it is front facing, rear facing, in vehicle, all the same setup.
And we are working on them. It's just costs money. So,
Thank you, Chief.
thank y'all.
Councilman Buddy?
Nothing to report.
Councilman Chatelain?
Guys, I will say, when I read the original resolution, it didn't have a dollar amount on it. But at the same time, after I figure out an attorney comes up and tells us it's $2,000, I don't think $2,000 is too much money to spend to put this in front of the citizens of Harahan. Every vote in Harahan counts. If it costs us $2,000 to put this in front of the citizens of Harahan to vote on this, I'm going to be in favor of it. And as long as we put it on a regular scheduled election, according to the attorney that's helping us do the work on this, that's what it's going to cost us. I believe the city's worth, it's worth $2,000 for me to hear what the citizens have to say. I'm also going to ask a question, and I do know the fire department has some of these ADE machines in there. And my question is, if the police department gets there first, and one of the policemen puts this machine, and normally the policemen get to a scene like that before the fire, and if they get there first and they start with their machine, do they continue on? I mean, I don't know much about the medical part, but I know you see somebody start pumping chest compressions, and that person's got to stay on them the whole time. I mean, how does that work? I mean, is it something we need to worry about, legality?
Well, I think the fire department could address, I think they have, I'm not sure what it is, but it's an automatic chest compression.
You mind talking, Scott? I mean,
The pads are interchangeable. We can plug it in some different machines. We would leave the pads
Right.
on just when EMS gets on scene. We
Right.
just unplug and plug into their.
Right. I think
okay,
he's
I
asking
appreciate it.
about.
And just to let the citizens know, the fire department does
Right.
have
The
6 or
AED
8 of these machines as well.
Yeah.
It's
The
just
AED
now the police department,
Yeah.
because normally the police department would get to a scene like that quicker than the fire department. It's a bigger truck, takes more time to
But
get
I
there.
think what you're asking is for doing CPR compressions. You have to keep going. I think the fire department does have, or maybe they don't. I was on the scene and I saw it. It might have been EMS that had it.
Okay.
EMS has a Lucas. We're
Yeah.
looking into getting a Lucas.
So that is what you're looking to get, one where it does it automatically. I mean, I know the discussion was talked about, I just don't know what we have,
Well-
what we don't have.
Just so, no, and I can get with the mayor and Todd, the fire chief. I've looked them up. I've got a price on one, what it would cost to get one for the city. Talking with EMS, our officers are not trained to use that, from what I understand. But I had put one in my proposal to Senator Talbert, and I'll see if we could get one for the city of Harahan. So if we had one, the fire department would probably be trained faster to be able to use it, because I'm not sure what kind of training you would have to use that device. But I was on the scene of a patient needing that, and I was surprised. That's the first time I saw it. So I was going to see if we could get one for the city and get the state to help finance it.
And I know
It's about
when you,
$20,000.
when you get to a scene, I know our police, our fire, everybody works together, do whatever we can, and we want to save. But there is a legality part that the city does have to watch out for, and I do know the fire and police, everybody's aware of that. But I think all of y'all do an outstanding job when you get to a scene, and I've never had a complaint about, oh, they mishandled something medically or anything like that. And I do think it's great that y'all do that. And just to let the citizens know, the fire department does have, I think, 5 new guys in training, or getting ready to start a training class soon for the fire department as well. And the city's moving forward. I think we're in we're in the best shape we've been in years. And I'm excited to be here. I hope to stick around for a while and move forward, but thank everybody for what they do for the city. Staff, everyone here, other council members, we all do our thing, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll provide the information, the packet, and the proposal to the mayor, Todd, to the fire chief, but they're out there, and I got a price on one.
Thank you.
Councilman Johnston?
First thing I'd like to say, I'm not happy with these ordinances that are up for term limits. I don't know why Eric put them up. 30 years later, they come up with term limits. The citizens voted on them in 1993 or 94. I apologize, I don't know exactly what year. I think it was 94, 94, I think it was. And the citizens voted for term limits. I'm not sure why we're bringing them up again. I guess when we vote on them, if they do go before the people, and the people in 30 years from now, well, I won't be here, a few of you guys might be here. If the people, the elected officials, 20, 30 years down the road don't like the results, they might bring it before the people again. We voted on term limits. I think they ought to be left alone. But I'm not going to vote against. I think the citizens have a right to vote on ordinances, on what they want to vote on, term limits. I'm not happy with the ordinance, but I'm going to vote in favor of it to give the citizens the right to vote. I believe in term limits. I've always believed in term limits. We should have it in Washington, D.C. That's why this country's so screwed up. You got people up there 50 years, and they die up in Washington, D.C. They go to meetings, and they can't hardly walk, and that's why this country is the way it is, because they got these old guys been up there so long. But like I say, I'm not happy with the ordinances that are going to come up for a vote next meeting. But that's the way we got to go with it. Also, I'd like to mention Mayor Baudier. He started his career when I was mayor of the city of Harahan. He won the election as a councilman, served in my administration a little over 2 years. That's 16 years ago. The mayor was green. As Councilman Chatelain said, when you start up, you don't know much what's going on. The mayor's been an elected official for 16 years. The mayor knows the city back and forward. There's not too many people that know more what goes on in the city than Mayor Baudier does. He knows his city well. He's learned a lot over the last 16 years. He knows the city. He knows what he's doing. He's done a good job as a mayor. I got to give him that. But I'm disappointed in the mayor, big time. I've represented the citizens of Harahan for 27 years as a councilman, as your mayor, and as your councilman Jefferson Parish. I've never refused a meeting with an elected official, or nobody has ever called me and asked me to meet with them. Or has I ever called an elected official, a parish president, a mayor of a city, a councilman, and asked for a meeting that they refused to meet with me? Well, 2 weeks ago, I called Kerry, the city clerk, and asked her to set a meeting up with Mayor Baudier. I get a text from Mayor Baudier, and I would read it, but I don't have to. I know it by heart. He texts me and says, Kerry says you want to have a meeting with me. I'm real busy right now on projects. Email me or text me your questions and I'll respond. I said, Mayor, I don't do business like that. I need you to meet with me. I'm one of your councilmen. If you're too busy, please find time to meet with me this week or next week. Let me know. We had a special meeting on April 4th. He was here. He walked out into that lobby right there. I said, Mayor, when you get time for a meeting, I'd like to meet with you. Haven't heard a word from him yet about a meeting. I'm really disappointed in the mayor that he's disrespected me the way he's disrespected me. He can't even meet with me, a councilman of the city, who has never disrespected him as an elected official in all these years. So I just want to tell Mayor I'm disappointed in you, and hopefully you'll meet with me as a councilman. I know no other councilman has been treated that way. And I just want to let you know I'm very, very disappointed in you. Thank you.
All right, real quick, we've had great relationships with our state legislature for quite some time now, and they've been very good. And I've worked really hard to build relationships through my tenure here as an elected official. And so one of our state representatives is not doing well right now, and so I ask you in this place, he's having some health issues, and he's really important to us, and it's Big Johnny Oak. He's just having some health problems right now, and so I really want to make sure that you guys think about him. If you see him on the street, thank him for everything he's done for us in the city of Harahan. And when Big Johnny Oak got elected, it was a year after I did, and he let me come aboard with him and work with him a lot in the legislature, trying to learn the systems and learn how it works. And it was very influential for me, my career in the city of Harahan, and in that tenure of being able to serve with State Representative John Ogue and State Senator Kirk Talbot, we've amassed quite a large sum of capital outlay funding for the city. As a matter of fact, we're right now working on a program where we've been working on the money to help do some sewer infrastructure work that's desperately needed. And so we've been working really hard on that, and they helped me get the funding for it. But they're very good to us, so believe it or not, so is Senator Cassidy, Senator Kennedy, Congressman Steve Scalise, Congressman Troy Carter. I mean, they've all been good to me and all been, and helped me build relationships and network. And I think, honestly, it's what has made me the mayor that I am today, an elected official that I am today. I'm not going to address Councilman Johnson's concerns up here at this moment because I don't think they need to be addressed. I never disrespected Councilman Johnson. Councilman Johnson far more disrespected me than I could ever even imagine, and I'm not going to tolerate that from an elected official or any human being. And when I finally have the time to sit with Councilman Johnson, I will. And but for him to even bring that before this body is disrespect just in itself alone. But anyway, I just want to thank the city of Harahan. I'd like to talk about a little bit about Councilman Chatelain said, term limits are a double-edged sword. The West Bank has no term limits, and we're constantly in a competitive disadvantage against them. Your state legislature has 3 terms, and when they brought it before me, I'm fairly certain that I won't be running a 3rd term, but if the public asked me to, I probably would. It'd be great to try to finish some projects that I was here. My first tenure here, I got 2 hurricanes on COVID, and so I really didn't get to do very much as mayor. It wasn't about learning or not, it was about handling what needed to be handled at that day and time. We have a lot of big projects that we have in process right now, one being a memorial park and honoring our 10 veterans from World War II. We've set up 5 international relationships in doing so. We're actually working on a documentary about our Harahan's own World War II vets, and I'd like to see that through. I don't know if I can finish it in my tenure here in my last 2 years, and 9 months or 8 months. I'm also working on a massive project on the Bachelor right now. And I work a lot with Mayor Constant over in Gretna, who has a Bachelor project. They have their Gretna Fest, which is, it's an incredible economic driver for the city of Gretna. And we've been working on our Bachelor here, and you know, that's a project that I'd love to see through. I'd love to see that Bachelor developed into some kind of recreational point, and so maybe we can have a concert out there or some kind of, you know, bring in Viking cruises, something to put more tax dollars into the city of Harahan. I'm definitely anti-taxing anybody, and so what I always try to do is get as creative as I possibly can be to get out and generate new tax revenue or work my butt off, whether it be in Baton Rouge or D.C. or at the parish. I'm trying to get funding for the city, and we've done very well with it, and I hope you guys approve of the things that we've done, but we worked very hard for this city, and we'll continue to do so, and I'm very proud to be a part of this council. And I'm proud of the past council, and I'm proud of every administration I've ever been under, because I've learned through a lot. And but that's about it. That's all I have for you guys. And just, you know, I wish some of the negativity and the bitterness out there is, I mean, I wish it would go away, because I can tell you this, you know, Harahan isn't moving forward with it, Louisiana isn't moving forward with it, and America isn't moving forward with it. And man, sometimes we just got to go out there and love our neighbors and check on one another and let just the bitterness go. And people weaponizing social media is absolutely insane, and you should be ashamed of yourself if that's what you do. So that's all I have. Good night. Of course, you can always reach me on my cell phone anytime, day or night. I'm always here. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Pay bills. Bills paid in March 2024. Total expenditures, $744,476.39. No executive session. Adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
3 yeas, 2 absent. We are adjourned.